Hello, everybody. We are back again. It's Thursday at 6 Eastern Standard Time, and we are back with another episode of Working Title. Today, we have one fantastic competitor, and another fantastic competitor is going to be here as well. But first off, I want to describe this one a little bit because this is a little different than what we normally do. I gave them 5 words, 5 random words. You can see them at the bottom of the screen here. Competition, watch, read, gamble, and boobs. I would like it to be known that my wife decided on that. This is not me. So just in case anyone's wondering, I did not decide on boobs. It's my wife's decision. If you have any problems, bring it up with her. But first off, I would like to introduce one of our favorite people, and finally we actually were able to get him on here and get this all worked out. Joe, Hot Fuzz Fairley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Anthony. This is going to be fun. I've been watching these for a while, and I've been looking forward to get on one. Not sure. I'm much better with a bit more direction, or when I'm answering stuff based on other people's creativity, but we'll see.
That's all we can do here because we never have a plan, really, in the end. And to introduce your competitor for today, I don't know if people read the description, but it's me. Basically, I wanted Joe and Jake to play today. Jake has done a lot of studying recently, and he's a little burnt, and I get it. So you know what? I'm going to take over. But still, he's here because he is going to be our judge for the day. Guest judge, Jake Meltzer, how are you doing today?
Well, like you said, I'm a little bit burnt out, but I didn't want to bail entirely because I was excited for this. I hope to get back on here actually to pitch at some point in the near future, but I'm glad you decided to keep me around to judge, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys made of boobs.
I feel like I'm going to get in trouble for mine a little bit, but we'll see how this goes. Jake, I'm really glad that you have still decided to come on and help judge this today. I am petrified because now I actually have to do this. Normally I can just judge other people, and now people are going to judge me. So I don't know how I feel about this, but we are going to get this started with what I like to call hit me with your best plot, because it's funny, it's goofy, and it's creative, and it's mine. So deal with it. Anyway, so what we're going to do here, for anyone that's new, 5 minutes we're going to have to pitch your movie. Just don't need to go into specific details. You only get 5 minutes, and I want to hear what you got. And then we will go into our casting, and then we will go into our comment section. But that's for later. For right now, Joe, you will have 5 minutes to do your pitch. I will. I have my little clock here, and whenever you start talking, I will get it started, so you do not waste any time.
Well, I'm glad the show's called Working Title, because the title of this movie is definitely a working title. I'm not good at naming things unless it's trivia team names. One Last Job. It's not a buddy cop movie. It's a buddy heist movie. 2 retired thieves, Michael Scarborough, Oscar Jackson. They've grown rich from their lucrative heists, but they hear about the owner of a luxury, one-of-a-kind watch they always coveted. He's died. So they each bet that the other is over the hill and decide to compete against each other to be the first and be able to obtain that watch. They decide whoever successfully steals it can keep it. Now, the watch itself is so valuable as it was designed as a tribute to a royal. The watchmaker was engaged to her briefly before she died, or before she left him. And on the back of the watch, it features an etching of that royal's bust, shall we say. It is the only one of its kind. So Jackson learns that the watch will be moved in a week, so seeks to steal it before then by breaking into the house, opening the safe, and removing it from inside. However, when he gets there, the watch is not there. When he returns to Scarborough empty-handed, Scarborough finds the whole thing hilarious. Rubs Jackson's face in it, mocking him. All friendly, though. So he sets out to show him how it's done. Now, he sees news the next day of the article that the watch has been moved, is going to be sold at auction, so he begins to make his plans. He learns that it's been stored in a bank in a safety deposit box, so breaks in later that night, only to find yet again that the watch is no longer there. Having had both their plans foiled and deciding maybe they are a little over the hill, they decide they've stolen enough, they've got plenty of money, so they go along to the auction. Now, When the day of the auction comes, they're waiting. The auctioneers come to open the box to unveil the watch. Yet again, the watch is not there. Jackson looks over at Scarborough and just winks at him. Cut to an amazing scene of how Jackson stole the watch, which I won't get into because that would be spoilers. And I solve crimes, I don't commit crimes. But the final scene of the movie, well, towards the end, they leave the auctioneer and Scarborough congratulates Jackson. Said, well, I did say whoever could successfully steal that watch could keep it. They shake hands and they go their separate ways. The final scene shows Jackson sleeping with the watch on his bedside table as Scarborough breaks in, looks at the watch, grinning as he approaches, implying that the stealing back and forth of this watch is probably going to go on for some time and that they can still successfully steal that watch. That's all I've got. With 2 minutes left. But that was it.
Listen, that was pretty.
I do apologize. There was one thing I did actually miss out. It was the red part. In order to decide who gets the first attempt at the watch, and apologies to Tony Hill for stealing this, one card from a deck is pulled out, and the other must decide whether it's red or black. Barbara wins, and lets Jackson go first.
I'm sure he would appreciate the tribute. I don't foresee any problems with that. That was great. It gave me definitely a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels vibe, which is a movie that I love, the Michael Caine, Steve Martin one. I'm not going to step on the casting part of this, but that certainly was the vibe that I got from that. And just again, to sort of suck up to Tony, this week they had their Ocean's 11 podcast for Digesting Cinema, just like a lighthearted heist movie. And this certainly, while obviously the cast is much smaller, certainly gave off that vibe. And I really enjoyed it. And again, also, I curious about how you incorporated the boobs. I thought that was very clever. I tried
to keep it respectful.
No, totally. Yeah, it was quite the challenge, but I think you more than met it. So, yeah, really good start from Joe. So I guess, Anthony, whenever you're ready, hit me with it.
All right. Yeah, my boobs are definitely not as subtle as yours are. They are not going to be. Okay. I did this in about an hour, so let's see how this goes. And I promise I'm starting the clock. Okay. My movie I'm deciding to call Reno in Vegas because it stars a guy named Reno Davis. He is driving into Las Vegas, checks his watch. He realizes that he only has a couple minutes to get in there, starts speeding, pulls up to the MGM Grand, big sign on the marquee saying, all games gambling tournament. He walks in, hundreds of people are there. Everybody's there. Everyone's ready. They're all here for this big gambling tournament where there's going to be blackjack, poker, and roulette. All these games are going to be played. Person with the most money at the end winds up taking it all with him. Reno comes in, goes through, hand grabs him, pulls him to the side. Big guy named Jimmy. It's like, I told you to never come back. Why are you here again? You shouldn't be here. Reno just looks up and down. Whatever. I'm here. As he's talking, beautiful girl comes up, puts her arm right inside of Jimmy's. He kind of looks at her. He's like, all right, beautiful girl. Classic guy and the girl going to a casino event. Obviously, I did not study this very well. Basically, we go through. He checks in, signs his name, $500,000 entrance fee for this. Big, big, big money on the line. We go back in. Both players are sitting at the blackjack table. They're playing the games. They're looking. They both have large stacks of chips in front of them. They're watching one of the hands. Jimmy winds up having a 13 to the dealer's 10. Reno looks up, and you can see the girl that Jimmy came in with. And oddly enough, in this really hot, crowded environment, both of her nipples seem to be extremely out right now. And Jimmy doubles down on the hand, which is a very stupid play if you know anything about blackjack. He winds up winning that hand. Then again, he comes through again, and Jimmy has a 12 to the dealer's 9. Reno looks again. Girl's nipples, not showing. They're just normal. Jimmy stays, and he wins. Again, a terrible play that he shouldn't do. He wins again. Now, blackjack is over. Jimmy's got a lot of money on Reno at this point. They move over to the poker table. And Jimmy keeps winning hands that he shouldn't. There's no reason. He keeps staying. He keeps folding when he shouldn't fold. He keeps holding when he should be folding. Everything is just going Jimmy's way. Reno keeps looking across, and he keeps seeing the girl around the table, always kind of following around. And there's a time, every few hands, he noticed, this girl only has like one nipple showing, the left one, the right one, both, 0. It's very odd how this keeps happening for this girl. And it seems Reno starts to get an idea. It's like, there might be something behind this because this doesn't make any sense. I will give myself the cue. I have 2 minutes left. Anyway, we keep moving along, and then he kind of sees her rubbing her eye. She wanders off. Reno calls a little break from the game, follows her. She goes into the bathroom. He kind of sneaks in and sees her taking contacts out of her eye, puts them on the counter, and then walks without an issue to the stall. He sneaks in, looks at the contact case, and can see that there are very clearly electronics around it. So she has been using electronic contacts to see through the cards to help Jimmy win this entire time. Reno takes the contact case, goes out, goes back to the poker table. He sits down. Jimmy looks at the girl. Girl obviously had panic on her face, realizes she might have really screwed up here, and now Jimmy's pissed. And Jimmy starts losing hands. Reno still is way, way behind, but he's catching up a little bit. We move on to the last game. The last game is roulette. You get 20 spins of the wheel. You pick, do whatever you can. By the last spin, I have 1 minute left. By the last spin, Jimmy is down about half, a little less than half. So he puts all of his money, millions of dollars on red. Or Reno, sorry. Reno puts all of his money on red. Jimmy's just not worried about it. You got 50-50 chance. If he bets anything, not going to happen. Roulette wheel spins. Reno's just watching it, kind of sits here, and he sees it about to go into the 00, and you see him click his watch, and it starts spinning faster and faster, and he flicks his wrist to the side, and the ball jumps into the red 1, in which gives him the win and helps him beat Jimmy overall in the tournament to win all of the money. I didn't really have any purpose behind it. That is all I have. Reno wins. Reno beats Jimmy in a big casino gambling fiasco. And that is my pitch.
Well, I'm not sure if the setting was pandering or not, considering where I live. Just a little bit? Okay. You didn't really, yeah. You're not really known as a panderer, so I was a little bit surprised. But
actually, no, I just wanted, it was gambling. Where else do you go?
Atlantic City, but fair. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. It was I'm sort of curious about sort of the technology at play here. It did make me think a little bit about, I'm trying to remember which Oceans. I think it was 13 where they had sort of the clicker to make the dice roll over. Something similar like that is kind of what I was thinking was sort of going on. I believe it's Ocean's 13. It's been a while. But no, I just, I mean, I sort of like the whole idea of like this guy who used to be like a big time gambler and maybe pissed off one too many people, coming back to sort of get sort of like Joe, sort of like a one last score type of thing, except, well, there is some crime happening, but not much more subtle. The boobs, maybe not as much. I would think that would cause a bit of a ruckus with, I assume, a mostly male playing field, but maybe get into that more in the comments. But I do like the pitches. I do like both pitches. I'm curious to see who you guys got to play these people. So I don't know who you want Joe to go first for the cast also. Or
No, I will do. Since I made Joe pitch first, I will do cast first. That's how I've been doing this to make it fair. So you don't have to constantly do it. I mean, I really only have 3 people in this cast. Also, hold on. There we go. Casting call. That's what I call this because it makes sense. Anyway, my cast is pretty simple. There's only three main characters in here. So for Jimmy, I immediately thought I wanted a bigger, statuesque kind of guy, but not somebody that's like intimidating, somebody that could be intimidating. And the first thing that popped in my mind was John Goodman, thinking like the Hangover 3 John Goodman. He's a bigger guy. He's a little bit in the belly, but he has that imposing figure to him. And I wanted him to be that. I also feel like he's a really good actor and could definitely play kind of the foil to Reno as well. So that's what I wanted. The girl, Joe's not doing this one, so I'm not pandering, but clearly I went Casino Royale because that's kind of where my mind went. And I went with Eva Green because she plays a very good, that girl on the side. Like, she's beautiful. She did a really good job in that movie. I really like Eva Green. So that was kind of where my mind went. It might have just been simply that I was thinking Casino, and that was the first movie that popped in my head. For Reno, I mean, we all know where I'm going with this. And I don't want him to go full. I want him to go back to that mid-90s when he had he had that Climbing to Vegas, Nick Cage. I want him as because I just watched a couple movies with him recently where he does a really good acting job. And if you give him the right role, he can really act well, but he can also have that look of a kind of degenerate gambler who obviously is pissed off this John Goodman character. So you kind of get both. He doesn't have to go all wiling out like Con Air style, as much as I would love that. That's not what I'm looking for here. I just want the Nicolas Cage that really just zones in and acts well. Obviously, that was my pick. I don't think anyone was even going to think that there was anyone else in my mind, but that's what I'm going. I don't really have a director because I don't know directors. Maybe I would just go with Steven Soderbergh because he did Oceans and you kind of have the whole casino thing. Probably just straight up stole yours. I mean, these are both heist-ish films, so that's kind of what I was thinking. But I don't know directors, so that's I guess maybe I'll think about it while he's talking and change it.
Okay. Do I comment on that, or do we go to Joe?
Oh no, you can comment.
Okay. I guess sort of the one thing I really love. I love both. I guess the one thing I'm sort of tripping on, like as you were sort of describing your pitch, I sort of pictured the girl as a little more ditzy, and Eva Green is a lot of things, but ditzy is very, very low on that list. She's an incredible actress. She's also incredible in Penny Dreadful and can do just about anything. But yeah, I was sort of thinking. I didn't have a specific actor in mind. I just pictured the character as a little more ditzy, especially like where she makes the mess up in the bathroom towards the end by leaving out the contacts. But I absolutely love John Goodman. This like perfect casting. Yeah, I mean, I love Nick Cage and John Goodman, but like now that I think about it, I can really hear like John Goodman's voice as that character. So that was particularly inspired choice. And can't go wrong with Cage. And I think there's enough room in the character for like one Cage freak out.
Yeah.
You got to get one in there.
With a bad hand, you can freak out in a poker. Absolutely.
Yeah. So no, I really like it. I really like that, but I'm curious to see who these two guys are going to be who Joe had in mind. So
he's absolutely right with my director. I mean, it's a heist movie, and at some point during the movie, you're going to have a flashback to how the heist was committed. So it is. I did go with Steven Soderbergh, but that was kind of an easy choice with Scarborough and Jackson. I had a few ideas in mind, but I wanted to go for actors who were around their 50s, so you could believe they were younger thieves who very successful, but not a ragtag bunch. They had a bit of a gentlemanly quality about them. And both these actors are Oscar winners, so I wanted to give them a bit of more of a fun role. It's been a while since I've seen either of these as sort of a more fun role. So for David Scarborough, the more reluctant type, He wants to watch more, but he's maybe a little bit more reluctant to start stealing again. I went with Gary Oldman.
Ooh.
I wanted to see him in a more fun role. Not quite Fifth Element or Leon, but somewhere in between that and Jim Gordon. And for Oscar Jackson, this is the guy who thinks it'll be fun to get back into it. And I went with Denzel. I wanted to see Gary Oldman and Denzel together. And, there's about 4 years between the two of them age-wise. And when Denzel's having fun and when he's got that smile on, it is just a joy to watch. And I wanted to see him having fun, especially since he's the one that gets to watch the actual successful heist in the end. I wanted to see that. So, Soderbergh, Oldman, Washington.
Yeah, that is definitely not where I was going, but I love that. So I really liked Gary Oldman, kind of got to be a little more playful in Mank, which I really liked that performance, even though apparently Golden Globes or SAG didn't. And then Denzel, when he's a scoundrel, is there are very few things better. I wish he did that. Yeah, I wish he did that a little more often, to be honest, instead of playing kind of the regular hero. When he gets that devilish grin in his eye and he gets that little Denzel laugh going. If you've seen any Denzel movies, you know what I'm talking about with that little mischievous laugh. Definitely giving these guys a little more room because they are so serious, and it would definitely give them an opportunity to kind of cut loose a little bit, play more into. They're both capable, certainly, of comedic elements, and I think that's what, like I mentioned, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels earlier. That's why I liked Michael Caine so much in that movie, because it's a similar thing where I think he had just won an Oscar before that movie, playing a serious character, and he'd been known as like a serious gangster type, and then to see him kind of cut loose like this, I see that's sort of what you're going for here with both of these guys, and I really dig it. Great job, both of you guys, on the pitches. So now I guess you get to yell at each other and say why each other's pitch sucks. So I guess.
You are correct, because we will go to round 3, which I have dubbed the comment section. Because let's be honest, have you gone to YouTube or Facebook before? Guess where all the really terrible things are? In the comment section. So that's why I dubbed it this. This is a round where me and Joe just kind of go back and forth and tell you why our pitch is better than theirs. Jake, like I said earlier, if you ever feel like we are just saying the same thing over and over again and not really having a point anymore, please stop us, and we will both get 30 seconds to do a closing argument before we will go to your choice in the matter. So that's pretty much it. We can start whenever we want. It's as awkward because I'm also saying things. I'm not used to this. I'm a little behind the 8 ball.
I'll jump in and then just look. It lost me a little bit with Eva Green. When I was picturing your movie, I had more of a Heather Graham type in mind, but some of the pitch on that, I appreciate you didn't really have an hour, and it's good, and I do enjoy some of these story aspects. But when you said Nick Cage, I was like, oh, I get it now. And then you said you want Nick Cage to go back to where he was in the 90s. It's like, oh, I don't get it anymore. But look, you had me with John Goodman, and you do have me with Nick Cage. But I think it could work maybe as that. Look, Nick Cage is doing another one.
I was thinking about that. I didn't really want to go full Nick Cage. I wanted him to go back. I just watched a movie with him called The Frozen Ground, which he did a great job, and he was very on point. He is a good actor and then can go off the rails. That's what I wanted. Actually, the Eva Green thing, I regret, because now I realize that after I wrote this, I was thinking Samara Weaving I would rather have in this role.
That's good.
Which now I feel bad because I already wrote that. But that would have been my plan. Anyway, I do post. Yeah, I can edit whatever I want. This is all me. You know what? Screw it. Samara Weaving's the girl. We're changing it. But no, I won't do that. I did like your pitch. I feel like this is one of those things we've seen 100 times before. It's a heist movie. It's two people going back and forth. Like Jake said, you got the rotten, dirty scoundrels kind of idea when you add into the heist movie, when you add into the Ocean's 11. I understand mine's all in the casino and stuff like that, but I don't think there's as many movies that I feel like I was trying for a movie that didn't have a specific point to it. Like, I didn't want there to be like, oh, here's the detective and here's the mob boss. And if the detective doesn't win all the money, then the mob boss gets the money, something like that. I was going for something that's a little off the wall, something a little different, where it's just about the games and you're kind of rooting for the person you know and not the person that obviously is the foil to him, who has been cheating a lot. Thank you, Bill. I did take your suggestion.
I mean, I get that. I mean, the thing I liked about mine was the fact that you cast Gary Oldman and Denzel is because you can like both these people and you don't know which one you actually want to succeed in the end. And that's why I threw in that ending of, the end of it. Denzel's got it. He's won it. But, can't teach an old dog new tricks. And Gary Oldman's just going to steal it back. And that's why I put it in there. And I know with Soderbergh, you say we've seen this a lot. But the last, sort of big heist from Soderbergh was Logan Lucky, and so I wanted to upgrade to the more of the sort of the gentlemanly type thieves, and make it a little bit more. Because I love Logan Lucky; it's really, really good, and Daniel Craig in that is superb. And I just wanted to sort of move it on to a sort of a different spectrum of the sort of the criminal underworld.
That makes it. I really do like your casting. The Denzel one, I really, really like. I that kind of came out of left field, and I really appreciate it because I feel like he would be great, like Jake said, in that movie with the kind of subtle, like, kind of back and forth, enjoying it more than being too serious. Gary Oldman, I didn't really see it. He kind of is that character actor, and I feel like this is more of, I mean, I'm glad you didn't go with like the classic Michael Caine or something like that. You went a little off the wall. Gary Oldman, I didn't see in this role as much. He seems to be a little bit extra in a lot of what he does, more of a character actor and everything. Half the movie he's in, I don't realize until after the fact, like, oh yeah, that's Gary Oldman. I totally didn't realize that was him. And like most of the stuff he does, I haven't seen a lot of movies where it's just Gary Oldman being Gary Oldman. There's probably a couple other people I would have put in there. The Denzel was just great casting. I like that one. And I will say this because most other people don't, I appreciate the way you used all the stuff. I mean, kind of throwing the red in there at the end as a nod to Tony, hashtag FPP, obviously. But I appreciate that, and the way you used the boobs was a lot more subtle and a lot more probably less misogynistic than I went. But it was my wife's suggestion, so I went a little off the wall.
I mean, I was looking at the casting of that. I wanted to find actors that were around the same age. I had another pitch working with Flavor of the Year, Pedro Pascal in it, but I went with Oldman. There was the only other part that I was looking at that didn't quite make the full pitch was about a detective or a head of security type, but I couldn't find a way to work it into the pitch. But it would have been Charlize Theron if I'd got there. But because I couldn't find a big enough part, it didn't seem right to work it in. But no, I love John Goodman, and I think John Goodman and Nick Cage together would be a lot of fun. I like it sort of reminded me a bit with the technology, so I was getting Mission Impossible vibes with the mechanics and the contact lens, but. Maybe it's just a pitch at the moment. It is a working title. I just maybe needed a little bit more about where this technology has come from and how it's all sort of come about and their previous relationship. But as a story, I like the sort of the bare bones of it. And I think Nick Cage having fun is always great. And obviously John Goodman, when he's playing a slightly more aggressive role, like I believe it's probably a poster behind you of him doing, maybe. Yeah, that would be it. I thought I saw it. If it's that sort of vibe, then love John Goodman when he's doing that sort of thing. So can't knock when you put Goodman and Cage in a movie.
All right, I think I don't have too much else to say about yours. I don't know if you have anything else.
Nope.
I feel like
you guys are getting a little too nice. So I think that's sort of
this movie's gonna suck.
How do I get mean to this face? Look at that. I can't believe that.
That is very true. Joe is a lovely human being, and that accent it's hard to hate.
I mean, that's just,
I'd have a Brit in it. That's why Gary Oldman's cast. I needed a Brit.
All right. We will give each other. Joe, I'll let you start. 30 seconds. We'll do a closing argument, and then Jake, you're going to give us everything you think and give us your choice. But we'll do our 30 seconds real quick as our final pitches.
The final picture, I wanted to see it sort of a fun. I've always enjoyed buddy cop movies, and I want to go for a bit more of the buddy heist movie. I know we've seen a lot of heist movies, but a lot of them are about the recruiting of the team. And I just wanted to focus on these two characters, having fun, and we've seen a lot of that one last job, but this one was going to be sort of the success and not have one of them killed. I just wanted to see two great actors having fun, bouncing off each other, and with a director that we know is established in this sort of thing, is going to be able to handle, you know, a heist pulled off well. And you know, I had 5 words, and we both had 5 words, so you do what you can with it. But yeah, I think I managed to get the story beats I wanted in there. I was happy.
Perfect. Yeah, my closing argument here is I kind of wanted a movie that had maybe a few more questions than answers. One of those movies that you watch and afterwards you're like, okay, what was the relationship here? What happened in the past? A movie that had some open-ended things that kept you thinking. Like it's kind of a choose your own adventure in the end of you watch the movie and you can make up your own idea of how they met, what happened all these years ago, how this Jimmy guy got all the technology. Is he a mobster? What's going on? I kind of wanted that. I understand that a lot of these movies can be frustrating, but I that's what I was looking at. The casting, I regret as soon as I said Eva Green and you called me out on it, I was like, I meant to put someone else in there, but I forgot to change my piece of paper, so it was too late. But that's kind of what I was going for with my pitch. Obviously, John Goodman and Nick Cage would be great together. I think that would be a lot of fun. And also, they could have some very intense moments. So that's what I was going for. That is my final part. And at that point, I will leave this up to now Jake in the critic's choice. In the first time ever on this show, the critic is not me. This is someone that likes better movies than me. So we're going to see what he has to say about this. So please tell us what you like, don't like, and your final decision.
Okay. So sort of what you were saying at the end there, Anthony, I was sort of where I was thinking with the relationship between the two main characters. Like, you don't have to go into a really detailed backstory. I think especially with those two actors, I think you can really sell it just in their performances. That like, oh, there's definitely a history here. These guys have sort of crossed paths over the years. And actually, honestly, same with Joe. Like, it's the two actors can kind of sell, like, you don't need like a whole backstory. There's no, like, you don't really need like a flashback to like, oh, here's past jobs that we've done together. It's just sort of like you can kind of feel that these guys have this shared history and see how these events play out, and like you can kind of just feel it in the essence of these characters. So I think in that respect, I really like both your guys' pitches. I think ultimately, what it came down to for me is, I did like Anthony's point about Gary Oldman being more of a character actor, and this is kind of like 2 movie star parts. But I also think he is such a good actor that I think he can kind of be a little more like embody that movie star part. But I do really like that back and forth element. And I think the knock on like it being not original, I say Dirty Rotten Scoundrels just as like a reference point. I mean, it was already remade as like a bad movie, a year ago or so, 2 years ago, something like that. So I don't think I don't think it should be knocked for sort of when you steal, you steal from the best. And I think ultimately, even though Anthony's story takes place in Vegas, I did ultimately kind of lock on to Joe's pitch a little more. I like sort of the playful back and forth between the mystery element of it. Like, oh, it keeps disappearing. Like, it's not there. I just sort of there's always like a good storytelling rhythm with that sort of storytelling device, and it's definitely got me like, oh, okay, so how does this play out? It definitely in my head is like, oh, I'm curious how this ends, and I do sort of wish you went into the flashback because you certainly had me intrigued. How did it all like lead up to this? So maybe off camera, who knows? But yeah, ultimately, I just felt like. And I know it's kind of, I dealt Anthony sort of a rough hand, to use gambling parlance, giving him a little less time to flesh out. But for what he did, I like both pitches, honestly. And I absolutely love I love the casting choices for both. was a good save. Anthony putting Samara Weaving in for Eva Green. I'll allow it. She's
If you're allowed it, going in the post.
yeah, sure. I don't care. I mean, like you said, there's not really huge stakes here, so
No, you're not.
Yeah, she's great.
whatever. But yeah, she's great. Ready or not, I was really pleasantly surprised by that one.
I thought she was great at Bill and Ted as well.
Yes.
Still haven't seen it. That's in my
She
my little
does such a good job of that character.
She's awesome.
She's Bill's daughter, right? Is that she's
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get to that one soon enough. But yeah, ultimately, while I like both pitches, I do like Joe's a little bit more, and I also just this sort of the item that is at the center of this, the MacGuffin, if you will, I think is different enough. Like you don't really see a watch being the object of people's desire, and this sort of backstory behind the watch is really clever also, and the way that the boobs were incorporated. Yeah, so ultimately Joe gets my vote in this one, but there's a reason there's a poll, so
I mean, you just got yourself a year-long ban from Working Title, but that's fine. Yeah, cool, that's on you. I'm just
I wouldn't have volunteered to do this if that was the case.
I'm clearly joking because Joe, your pitch was fantastic. I mean, that was a lot of fun. Definitely something I know a lot. Like as good as I just watched Ocean's 11, loved it. It's a lot of fun. Your pitch, I feel like, would be great. I would definitely go watch that without a doubt.
Thank you. I wasn't even sure about it. I had a whole second thing coming in like an hour before. I was like, oh, maybe this will be better, but I couldn't make the words fit quite.
All good. I enjoyed doing this. This was a lot of fun. Jake, I really appreciate you stepping in as the judge. You made a lot more sense than 90% of the ramblings I have after one of these, so I appreciate that. I will kind of do a quick go around. Joe, did you enjoy this? Did you have fun? You want to come back on again sometime? Oh,
absolutely. That was a lot of fun. It's fun to get the creative juices flowing every now and again. I've only ever sort of had in my head one idea. It's like, if I made a movie, what would it be? And maybe it'll come up in a subject once. We'll see.
Perfect. And Jake, I know this was your first time doing this, but I really look forward. You still want to come on and pitch at some point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When my brain is working better, I would love to come on and pitch something. So yeah, we'll talk because this was fun.
All right, good. Yeah, I definitely want to have you on. I understand. Believe me, anytime, anyone that I invite on here, please do not worry if you tell me last second that you can't do it because something's going on. Your health, family, everything else is more important than any of this. And it will be for the rest of life. Never worry about it. Joe, do you have anything you have to plug?
Nothing for me to plug. Just say, find me anywhere at Joe Ed Farrelly on Twitter and competing in the fan leagues. And also check out Trivia for Fun 3 for Nico Suave Rigoli because it's coming next weekend and it's very important.
Thank you for saying that because you are correct. Trivia for Thon is very important. Please donate to Thon. Donate to Trivia for Thon. It is a wonderful thing for Penn State, for the kids. My wife went there. I obviously have become a semi-fan because she went there, but this is a wonderful cause and definitely needs to be something that people look into as a donation. Jake, do you have anything going on? Anything you need to plug as well?
Well, other than echoing the sentiments about Trivia for Thon, I do question writing at Full Metal Media, so we're just wrapping things up now. Snowball should be coming sometime this year, hopefully sooner rather than later. We're just, but after Snowball, I imagine that matches are going to be coming. There was a Teams sign up post recently for Full Metal Teams. So, check that out. Otherwise, I've got nothing. So,
perfect. I will go ahead and do the rest of the spiel for all the random places that you will find everybody that is helping with the show and around. Obviously, go check out Feature Presentation Presents We just had Fantasy Film Fights yesterday, which was a lot of fun because it was Rotten Tomatoes, and I believe I've just gotten my 3rd win in a row on Rotten Tomatoes, so thank you everyone for voting for me. Additionally, FPTL on every Sunday. Go check that out. Sign up if you are new, if you have never tried a trivia before, because that is a perfect way to get yourself into trivia because you kind of get to pick your own round one. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. Unearth, Your List Sucks, all that on FPP. Go check it all out. Additionally, here on Opening Night Trivia, we got a lot of rookie matches coming up. A couple of the new trying to face Jake for a championship matches coming up. Yes, he's very good at this, and I do not want to play him, but maybe I'll get there. But a lot of rookie stuff coming up. If you are ever interested, please just DM me or Christina or Spence and let us know that you're interested, or just go on the site and make a little post like, hey, how do I sign up to be a rookie? Do it. We'll try our best to get you on. And this show, obviously, requires no trivia knowledge at all. So if you are ever interested to just pitch something and have fun, which you get no championship, no penalty for losing, no good thing for winning, but you just want to come on and spend a couple minutes with us, let me know. I'll get you on. It's cool. I got plenty of
internet points.
Yes. But anyway, that is all I got. I don't think there's anything else I could possibly say at this point. But for Joe, thank you. Jake, appreciate you being here to judge. It was a lot of fun having you there and to do something different. And for myself, everyone go out there, be good to everybody, and we will see you next time. See you.